First of all, I can say thank you very much for taking part in this first Axiell Calm webinar. We've used this software before for some remote demonstrations, but never for a webinar session like this. So it's the first one for us as well. So please give us some feedback afterwards and let us know how you think it's gone. As Debbie said in the first email, the format's going to be roughly a 40-minute session by Axiell, then 20 minutes of discussion afterwards. Obviously, it's a bit flexible around those times, but can try and keep any questions to the end if possible, keep them all together. If you want to make any comment or say anything during the presentation, you can use the chat facility if it comes back online. Okay. Oh, Debbie says chat's back. Is that correct?
It's back, yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. So yes, anything you want to say during the presentation, please feel free to type in, and Debbie or Mel will keep an eye on that. Otherwise, we'll leave the discussions until the end. Okay. So if you bear 1 second, and I click on here, you should now see the home page of a PowerPoint presentation, Calm version 10. Okay. Okay, so let's recap on the process to date. Obviously, as you know, the new versions are released through an RFE process, and that's been going on for some time now with the user groups. There's three types of RFEs, I guess. There's those we agree to do and have done. There's those which I've said we park for further discussion, where we need further input from the users in terms of adding new functionality. And that actually ties into the customer review workshops we did in March. I'll come back to that in a moment. There's also RFEs we reject for technical, functional, or some other reason. And these are all documented in the What's New documents. You'll see those when we release version 10. There's also some Axiell internal change requests that we make, which we put as part of our general development of the product, and they'll be in there as well. We also have some bug fixing. Unfortunately, our software is not perfect, and we do occasionally have bugs or anomalies, so we put new things in there to resolve some of the things reported to us by customers. The last line there is input from the customer functional review workshops. Now, some of you took part in these workshops in March time in various locations around the country, and the intention of those was to try and push a wholesale review of the product in terms of workflows, new functions, the range of things that people are aware of. That has been slightly superseded by events with the Axiell acquisition of Adlib. And those of you who are taking part in on the Calm list and also with some of the user discussions will know that there's an ongoing program to merge the two products together into a new, if you like, a phoenix from the two products. And that's due out September next year is the first expected launch. So the RFE process has taken longer than we expected. It's partly complicated by the merging of the two products, the work involved in doing that. But also we had some functions to add in relation to security, which we've added to version 10. So there are reasons for the apparent delay in release of version 10. But we are where we are just now, so let's carry on. Okay, the first thing is version 10 will be released before the end of November. It's basically in sort of packaging stage at the moment, and it will be available as a download from our website. All applications will be upgraded to version 10 except dserv, which I've highlighted to users already. dserv is not compatible with version 10, so there's no version 10 dserv. If you're using dserv, then you will not be able to upgrade that in line with version 10. This will be the last full release of Calm before the new product that we are doing and developing just now. Again, as I said, that's expected first release at the end of 2014. So this is the last full release of Calm in its current incarnation. However, there will still be bug fixes, maintenance, and some minor improvements and changes. So the product will still carry on. It's being supported for 5 years from going forward. But this is the last full release, if you like, of the core historic Calm product. Now, alongside the release, there's going to be a customer survey, which we're putting together now. It's partly a fact-finding thing to build our customer information, but also to get a feel for what people really use Calm for, the extent to which they use certain modules, which will help us influence the development of the new product from a sort of an application user interface perspective. So alongside the release announcement, there'll be a customer survey which I'd like to invite you to take part in and complete online. Okay. Okay, so what's new in version 10? Well, what I'm going to do is give you a sort of a brief feel of a few of the things we've added to version 10. A lot of the things are actually hidden behind the scenes because we do a lot of behind the scenes database changes. So this is some of the things you'll see in the front end of Calm. The first you'll see is an upgrade utility. Now this is a very important thing to be aware of. The difference between version 9 and version 10 data structures is it's a large change. So when you upgrade to version 10, there is no going backwards, if you like, with your data. So when you first start up Calm, you will find, as you can see on the screen now, a big warning. So this will update the databases to the latest version. It's a one-way process, you can't go back. So when you're ready to go to version 10, it is essentially a one-way process. If you want to go back, you're talking about backing up of data back to previous versions of version 9. So make sure when you go to version 10, you have a safe backup of your data before you move forward. Okay? So that warning, when you get that and click Next, the upgrade then takes place on the existing data. Okay, one of the main features we've added to Calm into the back-end database index engine is the support for Unicode. It's something customers asked about for quite a while now, and allows you to support the full range of international scripts and alphabets within the application. And what I've got here is a simple example to show you how that will work. I'm just starting up Calm now. So you should see a familiar typical Calm main menu screen in front of you just now. If I go to my catalog database here and I just find a simple record, you'll see a record on the screen with two description fields. Now, one is text in English, the other is text in Hebrew. Now, normally in Calm, the second field would appear as a sequence of question marks and random characters because the index didn't understand what to do with those characters. But that is data, that text translated rather roughly by Google Translate into Hebrew. You'll notice down below I have a couple of notes fields where I've taken parts of the text of that field. And if I just select that, simple select, and click on search, and now search the database for those characters, you'll see on the screen that it highlights in the description field and the notes field the text I've searched on. So you can now enter data in a variety of languages, but also index and search and retrieve that data as well. If I do another example, I just quickly search and look for... I'm trying to find an example here. Mel, we're typing. What's the search term for the Greek record? Oh, it's Greek. Aga. Sorry, apologies, I'm talking to Mel here. Aga. Sorry, I can't type. Okay, so now the record on the screen now, you'll see it's manuscript from Agamemnon, but you'll notice in description there is the Greek characters. So again, you now have the ability to catalog and add data in a wide variety of language forwards. And that's actually quite a big indexing change in the Calm database. It's one of the reasons why when you go to version 10, it's a one-step forward process. Okay. Another main change we've made is to add a new security model to Calm. Those who've used Calm in the past will know that there is if you like, a separate security database where you can set read, edit, delete, create rights to certain databases. But it's actually quite cumbersome and hard to access and to get access to. Also, people have asked about linking Calm to work with Active Directory based on sort of single logins. So we've modified the admin utility to start to add this level of security within the application. What I'll do now is I'll just take you into the admin module and show you how this works in a very brief way. So hang on 1 second, I'll just start up the wrong application, apologies. Let's start up the server utility, and you'll now notice I've now got the admin dialog box in front of me. If I click on File and Security, you've now got a new security option to set within Calm. So First of all, you can choose to switch on or switch off the security that you've set. You can temporarily disable it if you wish to. There are a range of authentication options as well if you have various network security settings set. I'm not an expert in security, I just know these things work and they do very clever things, but it allows you to authenticate against existing network security. We also have a failed login lockout as well, which basically means once you've tried to log in unsuccessfully for 3 times, it starts to kick in a timeout logging. So you can block people from accessing the system for a period of time while you check the logs to find out what all the failed login attempts are for. You can create groups of users who have different levels of attributes and different levels of privileges. Now, those who have seen the Calm security database in version 9 will know that we have the option to hide menus and also to restrict access to certain databases. But in order to make that easier, we've added them to the administration module. So you can see, for example, I have the option to control access to databases within Calm in a much easier, intuitive way. If I go to the User tab and look at the roles here, you can see I've actually disabled some of the menu options for people in this particular category. So the idea behind here is to control what people can and cannot do, but to do it through the admin interface. You can also add users to the system as well. And you'll notice I've got a user here. It's actually Debbie PC Debbie. It's actually Debbie's domain name and user ID. This is using the Windows user login name as part of the authentication process. So when you add new users to the security, you can either choose to create them as a Calm user, if you like, or also to authenticate against your Windows Active Directory logins. And that's quite a complex process, and I'm not an expert on that. But essentially, you can now validate your Calm login against your Windows credentials. Okay. Again, you can choose events you want to log in a separate log file. And again, you can decide, for example, to log all failed login occurrences to see what's happening with the system. So essentially, we now have a more sophisticated way of managing security within Calm that also authenticates against your Active Directory settings. So if I just close this down and do a couple of things now. First of all, if I go back into the core Calm system and create a new record, you'll notice that at the bottom of the screen, the creator name is being picked up from the Windows user login on this PC. So it's authenticating against Windows, and that will happen for the creator, the modifier, and also some of the other fields in Calm. For example, in terms of movement of museum objects, in terms of who authorized that process. So it's trying to again build that back to the Windows login option. Those who have set security in Calm in the past will recall that there is normally if you like, a login box appears at the start of the system. Now that still exists, and that will still exist for those who are historic Calm users. But for new users, that has been disabled. So you have a choice of how you, if you like, authenticate your users. If I switch that on here, you'll notice now I have the traditional login box for Calm, and it's asking for a username and password. Now that name and password must also exist in the security option in admin, but if I log in now, you'll notice as a user I have removed some of the menu options which I set as part of the security. So now you've got several ways you can manage security within Calm, either through Windows or through the application. But I think the way it's done now is a much more intuitive way, and it's easier for people to set and work with. So that is a brief look at how the new security options work within Calm. Okay. We do expect that this will refine as people start to use it, as we enhance and change the way the security works. Okay, in terms of the actual application itself, the first thing I'll talk about is the reference number search. This has been an interesting thing for many users. We added a new way of building the tree, which changed the way the reference number searching worked in Calm. And we thought it was very clever, but obviously some people didn't like the way the reference number searching had changed. So what we've done is we've enabled it so that the fast tree facility is still there, but we have an alternative reference number search. If I just show you, if I type in PL as a reference number and click and find, you'll notice, as with Calm now, you get one record appearing in the overview. It does exact match on the reference. If I click and search again, but this time we've added a new option beside the field button that says is in. And if I check that and search for PL, I now find all 2,368 records in the collection. I can also break it down by series, for example. So find those that are in PL/3, for example. I now have 1,300 records. So we've now allowed you to still have the quick tree generation, but also to have that easy way of searching for large parts of collections. So I think that's a good step forward to resolve an issue that some customers were concerned about with version 9. Okay. We've also historically had a lot of fields that are hidden in Calm. We've tried to change that, if you like. So now when you look at a record in Calm, you'll see at the bottom of the screen a lot of the fields that were historically hidden are now visible, particularly creator, created, modifier, modified, record ID. More fields are now visible by default within Calm, but it's still possible to hide fields if you functionally choose to do so. Okay. We've extended the number of fields that can be displayed in the overview as well. Historically that was linked to, I think it was 5 or 6 fields. At the moment I have 4 fields being displayed in the overview. If I just randomly add a few more fields, I've now added one there. Let's add a next one. These are all empty fields, of course, but just demonstrates the principle. So I can now add a large number of fields. I that's add up, I think it's 19 fields. What we haven't managed to do so far is to add a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom, like you scroll through the overview. But it is possible to add a large number of fields to sort and to print those off as well using the file print overview. So the ability to add more fields to the overview has been added as well. So more flexibility, I think, in that particular area. The multimedia field in Calm stores a wide variety of media formats, sound, audio, video, images, a range of things. But MP4 formats were an omission in the earlier releases. So we've added support for MP4 files. So if I just give you a brief example of that, if I search for the word Danish, hopefully I find a Calm Danish demonstrator in an MP4 file format. Our colleague Casper in Denmark has produced a few demonstration click-throughs of Calm, an MP4 file. If I click on that file itself, opens up Windows Media Player, and it's running through, if you like, sort of an MP4 demonstrator for Danish Calm. If you speak Danish, this will mean something to you. If it doesn't, it probably looks familiar, but a bit different. Anyway, so MP4 file format support has been added into Calm as well. Okay. We made some changes to the date parser, extended some of the options in there. One of the things I know that was highlighted was support for the unknown as a date parser format. I mean, if you look at this record just now and I type some gobbledygook in the date field and I save it, the dialog box pops up saying date is invalid. Do you want to correct yes or no? If I just change that and change it to unknown, if I can type, can't type, and save it now, it's now a valid date format. And that actually marries up with the no date or ND date. So if I actually search for a date that is ND, no date, it also finds the unknown date option as well. As we've always said, the ability to extend the date parser is always possible, provided the date ranges can be defined clearly. So any date range suggestions, please feel free to put them to us. Okay. We've added some new reports into the ALM application. This is partly because of the change we made in the loan's history to stop copying data across to the loan record. So, for example, if you wanted to find out how frequently used a particular collection was or a series was, you could only do that by copying that data to the loan record. We've modified that now to make it easier for you to search and report across records. So, for example, the archive loan issue will list all loans in a hit list in the archive loans database. Collection loans useful as well. You can find at all times a particular list of catalogue records has been loaned out as well. And likewise with conservation, you might want to find out for a complete collection what's the total conservation work applied to a particular collection or a particular series. These reports have been added to allow you to do these now. And if I just come into Calm and show you some of these working, if I just find a simple record. So on the standard Calm catalogue record, under reports on the left-hand side, we've added two new report options: associated conservation records and associated loans records. And what this will do is export all linked loan records or all linked conservation records into a CSV file that we managed in Excel. So, for example, it might pull out data about costs associated with particular conservation work, so you can see a feel for the money spent on something and the work that's been done. And these get put out to a CSV file in the output folder. And if I just bear with me a second, I can probably show you an example of that. I won't actually run the export itself, but I'll show you. So, for example, the conservation usage is thrown out to a CSV file, the total loans usage, and the complete loan history as well. So it's giving you all the data linked to the catalogue, linked to the loan record, allows you to manage that, manipulate that within Excel. So it's an easier way of reporting across databases. We've also added, in relation to loans, we've added a new loan filter in the records management application. I'll just flip into records just now and show you briefly how that works. Records is very similar to the core Calm ALM system. Obviously different options within the application, but under loans, we've allowed people to filter data by historic loans, overdue loans, and current loans. But each of those options automatically applies a filter to that group of records. What all loans now gives you access to the complete loan transaction database. So that's an example of Dave Depositor, there's Mark Moneybags, and there's Alan Accountant. So you get some records in here. But essentially allows you now to interrogate more fully the loan transaction process within the records management application. That's one of the things we were asked to do within records. Again, a lot of the standard back-end things in Describe apply to the records management application as well. Another thing that has people asked about is managing documentation, make it easier to use, easier to access, but also to produce lists of all the custom scripts that we make available in Calm. They allow you to massage and manipulate data in a simple, clear way. So I'm just going to pop up. Let's see. Okay. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to go to the documentation page. So you're familiar with this page. This is where we give access to all Axiell Calm documentation. And this is where it is with version 9.3. This has been updated for release with version 10 as well, of course. And this will include links to all documentation that we produce. Now, at the moment, the user manual is based on version 9.3, but we've been updating the manual for version 10. And this is what you're looking at just now. And within this, under the Calm option, under Administration and Security, we've added a new section on running scripts. And if I click on here, there's information how you can manage and run scripts within the Calm application. Excuse me. And towards the bottom, there are a list of the standard scripts that we provide. And this will be updated and changed as we add more scripts if they're requested from us. So all the scripts you can run within Calm are documented and listed here, and you can choose to use them if you see fit and if you wish to. However, we would say that in order to use those, you have to be an administrator within Calm. And you can only be an administrator if you set the security within the administration module. So there has to be some level of security set within the application, even at a very basic level. If you have security set and you have administrative rights, then you have access to a couple of options. One is you can use the run script option, which appears on the screen now, and if you know the file name of the script you wish to run, you then get the option to apply that script to the data in front of you. Very powerful tool, must be used with caution and care, but only have access if you are an administrator within Calm. As part of that administrator, you also have access to things like delete hit list. You also have access to things like issue hit list. So again, you can only use these functions if you have security enabled. And it's possible to switch security off very easily using the tick box enable disable option within admin. So even if you don't want to use security on a regular basis, you can apply it briefly just to have access to these global data functions. Okay. So I think that's, again, it's people have asked us to give access to these things, and we've certainly done that, but again, it should be used with care and with caution. Okay. So that, I feel like that's a very brief, simple run through some of the new things we've added to Calm version 10. As I say, with the documentation, there will be a what's new document, the new changes, new features. That will also include a list of some of the key bugs, anomalies we've fixed as well. It will also include all the RFEs that we haven't done, with an explanation of either why we haven't done it or what discussion is required to take that forward. But I think what we have just now is, if you like, it's a really good advanced version of Calm, version 10, new features with security and with Unicode, quite a lot of tidying up behind the scenes to get it running the way people really want it to. But if you like, it's a marker for Calm as we move forward with the next generation of products. There will also be a separate document to explain how the upgrade process works. Now, you saw that box I popped up on the screen with the upgrade utility, which I've popped on there again, and it's a very clear defined upgrade process. But all instructions for installing Calm, for managing this process, will all be included with the standard documentation with the product. So as I said, it's if you like, it's a marker for Calm. It's version 10, and many customers have been here since version 1. But it's the first step, the last step of a historic Calm, but the first step of a new project, a new product with our AdLib colleagues. So I think I'm going to stop talking just now and open up to any questions, queries. If you want to see anything, please feel free to ask away. Okay. Anyone still there?
Okay, right then.
Stunned into silence. I mean, one of the things I think one of the things we found with version 9 was that there was, because we're actually 3 versions of 9, versions 9.1, 2, and 3, there was quite a staggered uptake to version 9. Obviously, version 10 is available now. There's discussion going on already with users and user communities about the next generation of products. So I'm interested to see how many people are actively looking to move to version 10 as soon as it's released, whether there's going to be a staggered process. I think generally it's something I'm interested in finding out about, but has anyone got any thoughts just now on what their immediate upgrade plans are?
Hello Malcolm, it's Tim here.
Hi Tim, hi.
Hi. Our plan is, because we're still on version 8, there were things in version 9 that we weren't too keen on, and so we decided to wait and see. But now we have the problem that, of course, version 10 won't support DServe, and so we're sitting back and thinking about what we're going to do. That's our position.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting dilemma, I think, Tim, yes. The problem is that there are, as I said in correspondence to the Calm list, there was a lot of back-end database changes with version 10 that really are incompatible or won't work with DServe. So it was almost impossible to do a version 10 compatible DServe. I know that some people may think, well, yeah, it's a tricky one, Tim. Yes. I think it's balancing yes, Tim. It's an interesting dilemma. I think it's one we have to maybe try and work out the best way forward for you. Maybe recapping the things in version 9 that caused you issues.
Well, the two things were, one was the RefNo searching business, which seemed, having to do two searches to get the full hits for a collection seemed a bit roundabout. But also it was the images being numbered in a particular way, but that, I think when you import images, you get a random string of characters for a file name, and we found that rather unhelpful.
If you use the multimedia field, certainly that is the default situation. The historic thumbnail image fields both worked in the same historic way. I'm not sure if there is a way to, if you like, switch off the extended string characters. I need to check with our developers. Certainly with the reference number issue, there is an option that can be set to switch off the new reference number searching in 9, but that would then revert back to the slower tree generation. So if you like, we increased the speed of the tree but changed the way the RefNo search. So maybe for you that's a balance between the two. And there may be ways around the two issues you have that give you a version 9 option, I think.
Right, well, we'll perhaps look into that.
Yeah.
See if we can upgrade to 9.
Yeah, but essentially, I think my understanding is that customers who are running 8 onwards, the intention is that what normally our policy is, our default policy is that we support the last but one version. So really, if version 10's out, then version 9 is normally as far back as we go, and we've historically had that view. I think, given where we are now with new product development, it may well be that there's a jump from 8 to. It may be that you can go straight to new product from version 8. We can talk about that separately, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Tim, if there's any help, we're in the same boat with DServe. We've still got DServe as well. But one of the questions I had about this was whether how version 10 will work with the OAI, because we're looking at exporting the data via the OAI and presenting it in a different way and trying to get around the DServe issue that way. So I was just wondering, we currently use the OAI, but will that be changed if the data structure has changed?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that will not be released with version 10 is the DServe. OAI, API, they're all, if you like, future-proofed and move forward with the application. So yes, OAI will work exactly in version 10 if you use the version 10 OAI, certainly.
Oh, great, okay.
Absolutely, yeah. And also there's a query from Hertfordshire about CalmView. Yes, CalmView is upgraded too. We've added some configuration changes in CalmView, which I can't show you if you like, but I think the real thing is that one of our customers is RNIB, and they did a lot of testing of CalmView in terms of compliance with various disability guidelines. And actually CalmView hit almost all the buttons that they set. There's some things they asked us to do that actually improved its compliance with some of the guidelines, which we've added to the core product. So I think, yes, CalmView will be upgraded. There'll be version 10 CalmView, but I think some of the tweaks made in there will actually make it more compliant with some of the disability guidelines. But yes, CalmView version 10, definitely. There's a question about Unicode as well, about the search function recognise alternative letters as standard letters. I think from that, and my understanding of that is that an example is where you have the English letter E, but you have a French E grave and E acute, and they're all indexed and treated as the same. And that is the intention, yes. So there's a character value table that is set, where you, if you like, you set the equivalents in characters, alternative characters. So I think the answer to the question is yes. Okay. Any other questions just now? No? How many of you are currently running version 9? Is anyone, sorry, apart from Tim, is anyone else still running a pre-version 9 Calm? It's just you, Tim, is it?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
We used to be very good about upgrading as quickly as possible to the new version.
Yeah, I think if we take your discussion offline, I mean, as I said, yes, you're correct. The reference number searching was one of the questions that popped up quite a lot from customers, and it may actually have impact on other people choosing to upgrade. But certainly, if it becomes a unique situation you have where the version 10 is less of an option because of the decel thing, then we can see if we can find some way around that.
Okay, thank you.
Another question here from Hertfordshire. Yes, Windows 7, yes, absolutely yes, definitely compatible. Yes, and Windows 8. I run Calm on Windows 8 and it's absolutely fine. So yes, no problem with Windows 7. What I found is that with later versions of any Microsoft operating systems, more and more things tend to get locked down by default. So things you take for granted suddenly don't work because the setting has been switched right down to a very basic user. So I know the help desk have talked to some customers about settings you have to make sure that people have access to certain files, these sort of issues, but absolutely compatible with 7 and with version 8. And of course, you've seen the updates on the new product, and that will also be compatible with Mac's browsers as well. So there's a whole range of things we're doing in the future to make it as cross-platform compatible as possible. Version 9 support for essentially, as I nailed my mask to the whatever it is and said that we support the last but one product, which essentially means version 9 and version 10. I would guess that because version 10 or variants of that will be the last formal Calm product, version 9 remains supportable until we see support for Calm. And we said in our product update that we would support Calm and also AdLib for the next 5 years. What would probably happen is that if there was an issue or anomaly came up in version 9 that we fixed, then in version 10, then the fix might be to the customer to go to version 10. However, I think version 9 was very 9.3 is a very stable product. So I would guess that apart from the issues that Tim's risen about the reference numbering, for example, I think that I don't see any problems with version 9 going forward. So yeah, it'll be supported as long as we're supporting Calm. We'll be supporting version 9. About the version 10 new data structure. Yes, a good question. We've done a lot of work so far on the back-end technical structure, if you like. A key part for us now is to look at the respective data schemas for Calm and AdLib. And the important thing from our perspective, from a Calm perspective, is the flexibility of the data entry templates, the record templates. One of the things that cropped up or came up from the workshops was how high priority customers placed on that. Therefore, it's imperative, from my perspective, that the data structures Calm currently has are supported in the new product. So essentially, anything you can do now in terms of data in 9 and in 10 I would expect to be able to do in the new product. And if we can't, then that's an issue for us to deal with and for you to shout about. But yeah, the answer is yes, it's based on, it's a different technology, but it'll work with version 9 and version 10. Okay. Steph has asked, yeah, I think this is the whole area of RFEs is where we are, if you like, just now. I think we started off with the functional review workshops earlier in the year, and it actually coincided unintentionally with the acquisition of AdLib. So we had a plan to revamp Calm, if you like, and a lot of discussion about possible new functions, new additions. But that almost got superseded by our internal goal, which was to merge the two Calm and AdLib products into one new product. So what I would expect to happen is that as we go through the early part of next year in discussions with the user group, we'll start to build up on how we can take advantage of the key bits of Calm, the key bits of AdLib, the way different systems do things in different ways, and to give that level of functionality. So ideally what you want is extended museum functionality in a way that a Calm customer is comfortable with. So that essentially, the workshops call for RFEs. That's a key part of our early 2014 work with users for the new product. Harvard have asked about the new product or resubscribe. There is no firm decision made yet on what the upgrade process is for the new product, whether it is a free process, whether it becomes a new license cost, whether it's a staff upgrade cost time. There's no decision made on that process yet. What I'd expect, though, is that the 400 plus customers who currently use Calm will see the new product as a way forward and will get all the benefits of that product with minimal extra investment. The point is people get a lot of time and effort into Calm, and we want them to carry on in the new product in the way they've done for Calm for many years. So I can't say for sure yet what the subscription option will be, if there's any cost associated with it, but that will be high in the agenda for early next year. I've reached the end of the question list. Any more questions from anyone, or any clarification on anything I've said?
That's been really helpful, Malcolm. Thank you very much. So it's been very, very, very useful, I think.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it's... oh, Jenny's popped something there. Yes, about new front end. Yes, there will be a new front end to the application. I think historically one of the people's less favourite things of Calm has been the aspects of the user interface. There will be a new interface to the new product. It won't be Calm. It won't be AdLib. It'll be a new interface doing things in a new dynamic way. So there'll be a web client version coming along. It'll work with Macs as well as PCs. It's a whole new beast, if you like, and we're quite excited about talking to customers early in the year about how that's going to develop and evolve. Working with the with Arena, any product we produce is future-proofed with our default public access options. So there will be a way forward for customers in whatever way they choose to take their public experience, whether it's historically with CalmView, whether it's building on the back of the AdLib internet server, which is currently used by AdLib, or whether it's an Arena interface. These are all options for discussion and for review. Julie's asked about one of the reasons we're sticking with DServe is because we have special collection museums and run two separate sites allow targeted searching. Essentially, that sounds to me like it's a if you like, two sets of sort of a double DServe site with different parameters. That's actually possible in CalmView, and actually it's possible within Arena as well. Also with AdLib's internet server, they have an ALM interface that allows you to search across their three separate products. So definitely one of the key things we want to do is to bring archives, libraries, local studies, local history museums together and make it easy and seamless as possible to have targeted searching or cross-application searching. So the answer is, do I think it's possible? Yes, absolutely. That's one of the key development focuses for us. So yes, 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 yes. Anything else popping up there? Just waiting to... No? Oh, excellent, excellent. Okay, just to recap, this is the very first time we've run one of these webinars. I've used them for doing demonstrations to one or two people before, but never in this sort of interactive way, if you like. So I hope it's worked reasonably well. If there's any comments or questions on maybe the sound quality, the interaction with the chat, please feel free to email us afterwards and give us some feedback, because we're running one of these sessions again tomorrow. So we'll see how that one goes. We'll listen to the recording, pick out the bits that we want to edit, and then make that available. So we'll see what it records as well, and we can use that as part of our feedback, internal feedback for the next one. But the idea is that we start off with these version 10 ones as a feeler, if you like, but there's a lot of things we want to do. A lot of the questions that have come up as well, I think, are part of a webinar process going forward in 2014. So yes, we hope to make more use of this facility with customers as we move on. Any other questions? No? People happy?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, please feel free to send the feedback to Debbie by email. We'll give you a copy of the recording once we've checked it out. And thank you very much for taking part. And we look forward to getting you on to version 10 as soon as possible. Even you, Tim.
Thank you very much, Malcolm.
Okay, I'm going to close the conference now. Okay. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.